Hello, everyone. We are Group 6 in Ma'am Nino's Introduction to Political Science class. Three of the numerous crucial glossaries that are crucial for this lesson are included here. We were given the phrases justice, law, and class to focus on. Brenda, Yvabelle, Nesha, and Salsa will each provide a definition and concept, the relation between the three words, and finally, instances of how the words relate to one and another in this presentation.
Definition of justice. Justice means just behavior or treatment in the way that people are treated. Justice is the quality of being fair, impartial to every member of society. Justice is the authority given to someone in making policies without favoritism and without seeing differences as subjective in decision making, whether differences in race, language, ethnicity, or culture. Next, concept of justice. We have four concepts of justice. First, justice is decided as per rules prevalent in the country. It means that each country has a different meaning or understanding of the concept of justice itself. Second, conduct of behavior and ways of working are formulated as per the rules prevalent in the country. Third, justice always deals with what is right and what is wrong. And last, some of the decisions of the court might be legally right, but they may be wrong in the eyes of morality. It's because every country have different ideological system, so what is right and what is wrong in this case depends on the country's own views in realizing what is called justice.
So let's continue to definition and concept of law. This is definition of law. Law is a set of regulation, comments and provision that regulate the order of society, and therefore must be obeyed by that society. So we can interpret that law is a rule whether it is written or not, but society legally to obey it. If it is violated, then there is a punishment that must be given to the perpetrator of the violence. This is a concept of law. First, there is recognition of the principle of supremacy of law and the Constitution. Second, the principle of separation and limitation of power is adhered to. Third, there is a guarantee of human right. Fourth, there is existence of a free and impartial judiciary that guarantee equality of citizens before. And the last, the law and justice for everyone, including against abuse of authority by those in power. And this is definition of class. Class is the system of ordering a society in which people are divided into group of people, separate by rigid and clear dividing line based on perceived social or their economic status.
Next, concept of class. We have three concepts of class. First, every class consisting of upper, middle, and lower classes. Second, in class system, there are those who command and there are those who must obey orders. Third, one class consists of several community members with appropriate levels.
So, after knowing more about the real definition and the concept of justice, law, and class, I think now you're probably wondering if there is any relation between justice, law, and class. Well, the answer for your question is yes, there is a relation between those three words. Now, allow me and my friend Theo to explain it more to you about the relation between justice, law, and class. Let's start with the relation between justice and law. So, as we all know, that law is a system of regulations, standards, principles, and norms created by a country's government in order to regulate the life and the actions of the citizens, while justice is a more abstract concept based on the idea of equality of rights and fairness. People tend to know that law and justice is the same thing, while actually the terms of law and justice refer to two similar yet different concepts. And that make us came to the conclusion that law and justice basically need each other in order to carrying out their respective function. Because law itself should be based on justice, because the purpose of law is to create justice, because law as means to achieve justice, while on the other hand, justice also need law to create the justice itself, because at the end of the day, justice is a call to action, not a call in order. So that is the relation that we have between justice and law. And for the next case will be explained by my friend Phil.
Now, we will be continuing with the relation between law and class. While still being on the topic of Marxism, class has been used as a fundamental on theorizing law. Law provides resources, instruments, languages, and symbols that come helpful in the creation of social orders. Class has been less significant as of lately. Natural law, which means a theory of ethics that hold that morality is natural in people and serves as a guide for behavior of theories, on the other hand, reject the idea that human action plays a major part in regulating social life and instead look to a universal, not related to history, natural rule for moral guidance and teaching. One can say that natural law arguments are a form of idealism, dangerous idealism even, because they are blindsided and ignorant towards the way legal systems operate, hence why it is argued that it may create in its own place a false or partial idealism. The recent theories by Hadley Arkes, an American political scientist, on the connection between morality and the law is an attempt to identify a set of fundamental principles as the origin of law in the modern era. Citing Aristotle as well as Kant, Arkes feels that because law is the collective expression of human reason, it is feasible to form opinions and compel others to follow them. Morality and I quote, the nature of being who has the capacity for morals, end of quote, are conditions for the creation of law, which is the manifestation of collective social activity. And lastly, we will be discussing about the relation between justice and class. Social justice, which in this context refers to the belief that every person deserves equal access to opportunities in the political, social, and economic spheres, can be used to classify class in this sense. Social justice is the idea of justice. Social justice is justice as it exists in society and involves equity for all people, regardless class, in areas such as housing, work, healthcare, and other areas. Human rights are upheld and prejudice is prevented in a society that values social justice. The one thing that has remained constant over time is that those from lower social levels do not receive the same justice as others. Customs and people change over time. Inequalities in wealth, income, and associated factors cause social classes to differ from one and another in today's unequally distributed society. Social justice is justice with regard to an equitable distribution of income, opportunities, and privileges within a society where each person's rights are acknowledged and upheld. Justice fosters fairness and equity in many facets of society. To put it simply, the term social class inequality refers to the unequal distribution of income among populations in contemporary society. This essentially undermines the goal of justice by creating disparities across social classes based on wealth, income, and other relevant variables.
Example: the first one is inaccuracy of subsidized fuel users. As we know, Pertalite and subsidized solar are subsidized fuels aimed at the lower middle class, but there are still many people from the upper middle class who use this fuel, and it violates existing regulation. Due to inappropriate fuel buyers or users, the stock of subsidized fuel is running low and scarce. And finally, fuel prices will rise again, but subsidized and non subsidized.
This also makes people from the lower middle class feel anxious and don't accept it. Because of that, their quota is also used by the upper middle class. Therefore, now there is a new rule that has been set, namely that every time you purchase fuel using an application, all vehicles must be registered so that Pertamina knows that the vehicle deserves not to receive subsidized fuel. The regulation is Presidential Regulation number 191 of 2014 concerning the supply, distribution, and retail selling price of fuel oil. Example, the second is Bansos program during COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic has had an impact on the Indonesian economy. Many companies have closed down and many people have lost their jobs. During COVID-19, it was also called a monetary crisis, not only in Indonesia but throughout the world. This certainly makes it difficult for lower middle class people to obtain their rights, namely the right to a decent life. Without employment opportunities, it is increasingly difficult for them to fulfill their basic needs. The government finally took action by providing social assistance for lower middle class people. Rules regarding providing social assistance to those in need are in Article 22, paragraph 1 until 2. Meanwhile, to continue to provide fairness to the upper middle class, the government is also taking steps to stabilize food selling price in the market so that upper middle class people can still buy food at affordable price and meet their food needs and also their daily needs.